A very good morning to my dear students. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 12, Transportation of Materials in Plants and Animals. So let's begin. To stay alive, all living organisms need to transport materials like food, water, and oxygen to various parts of the body. Food and oxygen are transported to all the cells in the body for respiration and growth, whereas waste products are transported from the cells to the organs that excrete them. There are various methods by which materials are transported in plants and animals. So let's learn first the transportation of materials in plants. Most of the plants have well developed transport system which is known as vascular system, and ये vascular system specialized tissues से मिलके बनता है जिसे हम क्या कहते हैं vascular tissues. Now vascular tissues are of two types. First is xylem and second is phloem. Xylem transports water and minerals upward from the roots, whereas phloem cells transport the food from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. Transportation of water and minerals. Water and mineral salts dissolved in water entered the plant through the thin root hair present in the roots. Root hair are outgrowths from the layer of outer cells of the root, and root hair increases the surface area of the root for the absorption of water and mineral salts. Water and dissolved minerals are absorbed by the roots from the soil by the process of osmosis. Now the concentration of water molecules is greater outside the root hairs than inside. So water molecules root hairs में enter करेंगे by the process of osmosis, and then root hairs से root tissues में, and from root tissues it will reach to the xylem. The transportation of water and the dissolved mineral salts from the root to the stem, leaf, flower and other parts of the plant take place through the xylem. Now this upward movement of water from roots to the aerial parts of the plants through xylem is known as ascent of sap. Next comes the transportation of food. The food prepared by the leaves is transported to all the parts of the plant in the form of a solution through a process known as translocation. Translocation takes place through the phloem tissues. अब जैसे कि वाटर तो सिर्फ रूट से अपवर्ड मूवमेंट करता है थ्रू द जाइलम, सो सिर्फ अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन में ही जाइलम वर्क कर सकता है, लेकिन फ्लोएम खाने को ऊपर से नीचे एंड नीचे से ऊपर ट्रांसपोर्ट करता है, इसलिए फ्लोएम कैन वर्क इन अपवर्ड एज वेल एज इन डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन. द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज ट्रांसपिरेशन इन प्लांट्स. फोटोसिंथेसिस के लिए प्लांट्स लार्ज अमाउंट में वाटर को एब्जॉर्ब करते हैं, लेकिन सारा वाटर प्लांट्स यूज़ नहीं कर पाते. जितना भी एक्सेस ऑफ वाटर होता है वो वाटर वेपर की फॉर्म में स्टोमेटा से इवेपोरेट हो जाता है, एंड द प्रोसेस ऑफ लूजिंग वाटर इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर वेपर फ्रॉम अ प्लांट इज नोन एज ट्रांसपिरेशन. Transpiration of water from the leaves create a suction pull which pulls water up the plant from the roots. It is strong enough to force water up high trees. Now what is wilting? जब rate of absorption of water transpiration के कंपेयर में बहुत कम होता है, so plant cell loses water, जिसकी वजह से leaves, stem, flowers मुरझा जाते हैं, एंड इसे ही हम कहते हैं wilting. Now we learn transportation in animals. In higher animals, including human beings, there is a circulatory system for transportation of different substances. In the circulatory system, the blood delivers food and oxygen to every cell in the body. It also carries waste away from every cell in the body. The circulatory system consists of the blood vessels, and the heart. So first we'll learn about blood. Blood is a fluid medium that helps in the transportation of materials. It is red in color and contains large amount of water. Normally, the volume of blood in an average human adult is between 4 to 5 liters. The blood consists of a fluid known as plasma in which three types of blood cells float. The functions of blood are: it transports digested food from the small intestine to all the parts of the body. It transports oxygen from the lungs to the body cells and carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. It transports liquid waste from the body cells to the kidneys for removal from the body. As told earlier, plasma is a liquid part of the blood. It is yellowish in color and contains about 90% of water. It has food, waste, enzyme, etc. dissolved in it. Blood cells. There are three types of blood cells: RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. First, we'll discuss about RBCs. RBCs are also known as red blood cells, which are disc-shaped cells. They contain a red colored protein called hemoglobin. This protein absorbs and transports the oxygen to all the cells in the body. Oxygen combines with hemoglobin to form a compound called oxyhemoglobin. Second are WBCs, which are also known as white blood cells. These are slightly larger than red blood cells that do not have a fixed shape. They are fewer in number than red blood cells. Their main job is to fight against diseases by destroying harmful bacteria and other foreign materials. Third are platelets. Platelets are smaller than red blood cells. They help the blood to clot whenever there is a wound on a body. This is the summary of blood showing the function and appearance of all the cells and the liquid part. The second part of the circulatory system is blood vessels. Blood circulates across the body through a network of tubes called blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. First are the arteries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart. As the heart pumps blood into the arteries, the blood flows rapidly and at a high pressure. Therefore, arteries have thick elastic walls. Second are the veins. Veins carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Veins have thin walls. They have walls which allow the blood to flow only towards the heart. Third are the capillaries. Arteries branch into smaller and smaller arteries and finally into capillaries. Capillaries are the thinnest blood vessels. They have very thin walls through which oxygen, digested food, carbon dioxide, and other waste products are exchanged between the blood and the surrounding cells. Then the capillaries join up to form the veins. Now we'll learn about the last part of the circulatory system, that is human heart. The heart is a fist-sized muscular organ located between the lungs. It beats 60 to 80 times a minute throughout the life. Its functions is to pump blood to all the parts of the body. The heart is divided into four chambers. The top chambers with thin walls are known as auricles, whereas the two lower chambers with thick muscular walls are known as ventricles. Now we'll learn how blood circulates in the body. Firstly, the right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the various parts of the body through the veins and relaxes to receive it. It then contracts to send the blood into the right ventricle, which relaxes to receive it. Then the right ventricle contracts to pump the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. Exchange of gases takes place in the lungs and oxygenated blood is sent to the left side of the heart through the pulmonary vein. The left auricle relaxes to receive the oxygenated blood. It then contracts to send the blood to the left ventricle, which relaxes to receive it. The left ventricle contracts to pump the oxygenated blood to rest of the body. The right side of the heart is completely separated from the left side with the help of the partition called septum, so that the two types of blood do not mix. Now we'll learn about heartbeat and pulse. All the heart muscles do not contract at the same time. The two auricles contract first, forcing the blood into the ventricles. The two ventricles contract a fraction of a second later. Because of this, each heartbeat can be heard as two sounds. पहली साउंड ऑरिकल्स के वीक कॉन्ट्रैक्शन से बनती है जो कि वीक होती है, एंड सेकेंड साउंड वेंट्रिकल्स के स्ट्रॉन्ग कॉन्ट्रैक्शन से बनती है जो कि स्ट्रॉन्ग होती है. सो इस तरह से हमारी हार्ट बीट में दो साउंड्स होती हैं विच इज़ एक्चुअली फेल्ट एज पल्स. नाउ व्हाट इज पल्स? Pulse is the number of time heart beats each minute. Stethoscope. The doctor listens to this two-part heartbeat using a device known as stethoscope. Now let's learn about the next topic, excretion. But before learning about it, let's learn metabolism first. During life activities such as cellular respiration, several chemical reactions takes place in the body. These are known as metabolism. These chemical reactions produce waste products such as carbon dioxide, water, salts, urea, and uric acid. Accumulation of these waste beyond a level inside the body is harmful to the body. So it's important to remove these waste from the body. The process of removal of metabolic waste from the body is known as excretion. The excretory organs remove these wastes. Excretion in humans. Excretion in humans is carried out mainly by the urinary system. It removes most of the waste from the body in the form of a liquid called urine. The main organs of the urinary system are the two bean-shaped organs called kidneys, a pair of tubes called ureters, an elastic sac called urinary bladder, and a tube called urethra. The kidneys are located on each side of the backbone just above the waist. Their main function is to filter waste from the blood. The kidneys consist of a large number of coiled tubes called nephrons. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons. Nephrons are the tiny filtering units of the kidney. They filter out excess water, salts, and urea from the blood as it passes through them. The clean blood leaves the kidney and continues its circulation in the body. The waste removed by the kidneys form urine. Now the urine passes from the kidneys through two tubes called ureters into an elastic sac called the urinary bladder. The bladder stores the urine until it is excreted from the body through the urethra. A healthy human being passes out about 1.5 to 2.5 liters of urine every day. The kidneys must function properly to keep the body healthy. Now we'll learn about the composition of urine. Generally, urine consists of 95% water, 2.5% urea, and 2.5% other waste products. But if there is excess sugar, enzymes, blood, or any other materials in the urine, it indicates that some organs may not be functioning properly. For example, अगर यूरिन में शुगर आती है, it means person can be suffering from diabetes. Similarly, presence of blood in urine is a sign of damaged kidneys. If a person's kidneys are damaged, doctors remove body waste by a medical process known as dialysis. But dialysis is a temporary solution. The permanent solution is the kidney transplant, in which the damaged kidney is replaced by a healthy kidney donated by someone. The last topic of this chapter is sweating. Besides kidneys, our skin also helps in eliminating waste. It secretes excess of water, urea, salts, and other metabolic waste in the form of sweat with the help of sweat glands present in the skin. As sweat evaporates, it cools the body. So, sweating also helps to cool down our body when it is very hot. I hope all the concepts of this chapter are clear to all of you. Read the chapter thoroughly and mark the internal questions. Also, prepare well for your half yearlies. Have a nice day.